Ladies and gentlemen,
Hello.
welcome to the Sober Grind. My name is Pej, and I'm here with my co-host today,
Austin Armstrong.
Austin Armstrong, and we are doing a recovery story this week. We have a friend of ours. He is over here in Anaheim. He's actually via Skype today, and his name is Kale, right?
Yes. Kale actually found us on our Instagram account, sent me a message. We talked a little bit, heard a little bit about his story. It was incredible, very inspiring.
What's our Instagram account?
Sober Grind.
Is
so
it?
Check us out on it's actually the Sober Grind.
Yeah, because there's another Sober Grind too.
There's another, yeah.
And I checked them out. Got no beef. I like their stuff.
Got no beef. Yeah, they're just
they got funny memes
and stuff like that. We are the Sober Grind. So
we are the Sober Grind.
If you're not a friend or fan of us following on Instagram yet, definitely check us out. But welcome to Sober Grind, Kale. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you guys?
Good. Thank you again so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah. So let's start off. Kale, how long have you been sober now?
I've been sober a little over 3 years.
It's amazing. Congratulations.
And
Thank you.
You said you were 37 years old. You got sober around 34, 35 years old?
Yeah, July 15th of 2015. Yeah.
Okay.
34.
If you don't mind sharing, when did you first get exposed to substances, and what was your drug of choice?
Yeah, I first got exposed to it teenage age, around probably 13 and 14, I would say. I started smoking cigarettes when I was about 12, and my drug of choice was alcohol and mainly cocaine. I have tried a lot of other substances in the past, but mainly it was alcohol and cocaine.
Gotcha. How long did you just use kind of casually until you started to recognize that it became a problem?
I'd say casually a couple of years, and as far as lineage goes, from my family are all addicts or recovering addicts as well. My dad was an alcoholic. My grandpa was an alcoholic. My mom has a substance abuse problem with prescription medications. So I think, from what I've learned about the disease is I think it is definitely something that can be inherited. I also think on the opposite end of the spectrum that usually things traumatic happen that kind of ignite it, to people, I would say. Sometimes for me, my thing really started becoming a habit when when I let go of guardianship of my older daughter, about 19 years old.
What was that like for you, if you don't mind diving into that a little bit?
At the time I was working just regular retail jobs, and I didn't have I had gotten my GED from high school. I didn't graduate, as walk the stage and all that. And for me, it was very, very devastating to me. Not at the time, really, because I guess, my mind back then wanted to do what I knew would be, right for my daughter, and for her to be taken care of and provided for, which was something that at that age and in those circumstances I couldn't do. And so I did do that, and I went back to school and went to a vocational school and became a surgical technician, and kind of did a traveling RN job. So I got to travel to different states and work in different facilities, which was pretty cool. But, you know, as the years went on more and more, I just kept beating myself up internally and mentally. You know, basically I was like a deadbeat and not a good dad, and, you know, basically self-pitying myself for, you know, the choice that I had made for the best interest of my daughter. And, you know, I guess at some point, part of it was selfishness on my part in regards that, as I've grown up, you know, maybe at the time, like, I was upset because maybe it was more of a control thing. Like, I want to be dad, you know, but not like I said, you know, growing up, I know that, sorry guys, I know that where she is, you know, the best decision that I did make for her. And I'm happy for that.
Now, when you were, you said it was mainly alcohol and cocaine, although you did other drugs too. So obviously cocaine's not a cheap drug. How were you affording this?
Well, back in the day when I did do it, I would basically segregate and go to places that I guess I know it would be at in abundance and used frequently, like nightclubs and things of that nature, bars. You know, back in the day, we would go, or still nowadays, whatever, but go to like house after parties, you know, after the bars would close, and it'd be there. And so I didn't really ever have to pay for it. I never really had to come up with a chunk of change to, you know, go buy some. It was just there. You know, I mean, I partied like every single night. It was pretty much a constant train wreck every night. You know, alcohol for breakfast until it knocked me out at night to go to sleep. And so, you know, my friends would be partying. It would be there. Okay, can I get a bump? And, you know, people who have done cocaine know that, you know, after you do the first bump, it's really not like it's it. You don't really get the high anymore, although you try to keep striving for it, and you could probably drink on it forever and not get drunk. But like
nothing like that. Nothing like that first jolt. That's the one.
Right.
That's the one we keep chasing over and over and over again.
Yep.
Maybe next time it'll be like that one time.
No.
So I mean, this varies from person to person from what I've heard and everyone's experience. Do you keep in touch with a lot of those same people that you used to party with, or have you mostly cut them all out of your life?
No, they're all 86th, and they're all out in my book.
Gotcha.
So
I do not.
They know that you're in recovery?
You know, I'm not sure. I just removed myself from the picture, man. I just kind of changed phone numbers, cut it out, stopped going to the same places, stopped talking to the same people. You know, I really tried to change my circle of friends, and you know, the big thing for me is church, and so I really try to focus a lot of my energy on that, and school. I go back to school, or I'm in school, I'm sorry. And that's all I focus on, man. That and my wife and my kids. That's it. I just I don't even. Yeah. If they try to request me or something on Facebook, I don't even respond or block them. I just you know.
Yeah.
Just let them.
I think that's the only way to do it. I mean, everybody does it differently, but for me, it's like, you know, I want to kill the snake, I got to cut the head off the snake. I mean, that's just it. There's no, you know, you can't. For me, I can't dibble and dabble and go. You know, I'm not gonna go somewhere where a fire can be ignited. That, you know what I'm saying? I can't do that.
Yeah, they say the best way to get rid of bad habits is to replace them with good habits. So It seems like you've certainly done that. What was it like for you in the beginning? Was it easy for you to just cut everyone out, cut those bad things out of your life, or was there a difficult adjustment period for you?
No, it's definitely a difficult adjustment period for me, because being in that environment around the people and stuff, it made me, I guess, feel included and welcomed, and like, oh, fun to be around and all that fun stuff. And once you cut all those people off, and I guess before mentally you kind of get your head level, it's yeah, I mean, it could definitely be a kind of a black moment, so to say. Like, I felt like, a loner for a while, because not really true friends, or more like, fake friends, really. And
That's right. That's right. Had you ever attempted to quit living that lifestyle before you actually got sober?
Oh, say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Had you ever attempted to quit drugs and alcohol before you actually got sober this time 3 years ago?
No, actually, no. Because when I had my younger daughter, I was still drinking then too. I wasn't. No. Definitely.
The reason I ask is because a lot of times, people will know that they have a problem, or they think they have a problem. So there's just 1,000 failed attempts, and then finally, that turning point comes to where they make the final decision. I'm done. What was your crisis? What made you actually want to get sober?
For me, it was a multiple of things, but the main one was my kids, and I was tired of not being in their lives.
How many
having them?
How many kids do you have?
I have 2 daughters.
Nice.
One will be 18 next year, and the other one just turned 8.
That's awesome.
Yeah. They both live out of state. One lives in Colorado, the other's in Oklahoma. So, with my younger one, I've been with her pretty, since her birth, and basically as she's grown up, I've tried to infiltrate a lot of, I guess you'd call it makeup time, that I didn't get with my older daughter. And for me, my wake up call, like you asked, was my children. And then secondly, was also for, medical reasons as well. I just was done. My body was trashed. I mean, I got to the point where before I quit in 2015, I remember specifically because I was in Key West over that 4th of July weekend, a couple of weeks before that. And I'd done some coke and drank, and my drinking had got so bad that I literally couldn't even take a, regular size can of beer. And I would probably take 2 or 3 sips out of it. And my stomach, I'm assuming it was my liver, but my stomach was in so much pain.
Wow.
I couldn't even drink anymore. I just couldn't. And it was making me that sick. And it was just, I knew, like, God was telling me, like, if you want to die a fast life, keep drinking and doing drugs and, smoking cigarettes. And then July 14th came around, and I guess you could call it a spiritual awakening. I woke up on July 15th, and there's no, that date, has nothing to do with my children, doesn't relate to any type of special anniversary. I just woke up, and I just cold turkeyed it from that day forward. No alcohol, no cigarettes, no drugs, and
everything, huh? Good job.
So, yeah, that's amazing.
Good job.
Yeah, you're a strong individual. Cold turkey. So no, you didn't go through a treatment program at all. Did you go to any meetings, or did you just remain strong-willed?
I I kind of just, bit the bullet, and I've been doing that, and I never went to a detox or rehab.
Wow.
No particular reason. I just, my dad's been really big since I was a little kid, that basically he's pretty stern about people being able to do things. It's easy. You just put your mind to it, is kind of his motto with a lot of things. And so yeah, that's the way I did it. I did go to Celebrate Recovery meetings locally there. I am a member at Saddleback there in Lake Forest. And that for me was a big game changer in 2016 when I became a member there. And I also got baptized in March of that year. And, it was really such an awesome experience. It really lifted a big anchor off my shoulders of just so much dead heavy weight carried around for so long. And, I know God forgives me for, everything I've done in the past. And I pray to him every night. I read the Bible every night. I always, I guess my thing that keeps me going each day is my kids, God. And then I've also changed my mentality. I always try to find a small dim of light in the darkest of places. And it's a big word that I live on every day. And that word is hope. And for me, that's my rock, man. That's what I cling to every day to keep my brain level and forge ahead. Because I want to be there for my kids. I want to see them graduate. So, most importantly, I want my kids to respect me as their father, and for me to live somewhat of a right legacy behind, and show them that you don't, no matter what situation or trials we go through, that you don't need substance to fit in. You don't need substance to be accepted. You don't need substance to get through things. It can be done without any sedatives.
Yeah, you have such a great mentality, man. That's awesome. If there's someone watching this or listening to this that's being inspired by your story, that's going through something similar, they're in the thick of addiction, maybe they're a parent as well, what advice would you offer to them based on your experience?
I guess I would give it three things. The first would be try to look towards something they believe in as their higher power, whether that be God or Allah or whatever religion they practice, and turn towards them. And my second would be that word hope again. I mean, it's in the beginning, nothing's ever easy in the beginning, and it takes, you gotta get some support, not even necessarily from family, but whether it be through church or AA or NA groups, or that it can be done. Mm-hmm. There's people that have worse stories than mine. There's some that don't, and there's some people, look at Bill and Bob that made the AA and NA books. Like, without them, I mean, those two guys changed people's lives. And those people 30, 40, 50 years of sobriety, and we all have different avenues of getting there. We all have different addictions, and maybe get out there and just go talk to people, and you'll make there's people out there that can relate in some way to people, that are currently in addiction and using, and maybe they don't, maybe they just need an ear to talk to. Maybe someone can just go listen to them. Maybe that's what they need. And it's hard because I know it's hard for them to take what I call the first step, and that's reaching out for help. That's the hardest thing to do. And I assure you that if you do take that first step, and it can give you hope, and it can pay off, and change your life dramatically, in a very, very positive way. Not that everything in your life is going to be sparkles, because life is life, and and you got to roll with the punches. But
Absolutely.
There's so many avenues that open up when you look for help. I mean, when you seek help, there's just taking the first step, man. I just I can't mentally sit here and tell someone, like how to go about that. That's something that internally they have to, it's like leading a horse to the water. You can't make them drink, it's just, man, the reality is people aren't going to change until they want to change, and people got to hit rock bottom, and everyone has their different rock bottoms. Mine was, like I've discussed with you guys, and I don't know. I think people sometimes think because I haven't done it like the so-called traditional way with the AA and NA thing, maybe that is fine. Everybody's little, I don't know, I've heard doesn't count or something or whatever. And, like I said, we're all different. We're all unique. We all have different ways of accomplishing things, And so for me, it's like, if you can get sober and stay sober, and you do that by, I don't know, picking leaves off trees every day, well, you're a rock star, to me. I don't care if you went to church or you go to meetings or you didn't, or, you know what I mean? Whatever assists you in on your journey to stay on the straight and narrow, and sobriety is the way to go, man. Because let me tell you, the youth of our nation, like my daughters and my younger daughter's age, man, they scare me, especially all the stuff I see on the newspapers with this new fentanyl stuff. And it's like, this stuff is bonkers, man.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you are certainly an inspirational man, Kale. Thank you so much for sharing your journey. Pej, do you have any?
No, I love the fact that you're staying sober. I love the fact that you're able to be a father for your daughters, and I like what you were talking about. People are different. There used to be a time when I thought that the 12-step way was the only way, but I have much more of an open mind, and I see a lot of people getting sober through the church. I see a lot of people that just get sober and don't do anything at all, but they just, they don't do it anymore. And more power to whoever does whatever. We all have our own path. The fact is that if you're not putting the substances in your body anymore and you're living a different lifestyle, kudos. Straight kudos. Recovery comes in many different forms, shapes, and sizes. So we want to thank you, Kale, for coming on the show today. Keep doing what you're doing. And thanks. Thanks a lot for being who you are.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on your end, Kale?
No, thank you guys for having me. And you guys listening, if you are listening, and stay strong, man, and believe, and God bless you guys. Bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed this amazing episode, hearing Kale's story. We hope it inspired you. It's relatable to you, someone you know. Please reach out if you ever need help. If you have not checked us out yet on Instagram, Facebook, we're all over the place, YouTube. Subscribe to the podcast. We're on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher. We're on Spotify now. Anywhere you listen to a podcast, we are there. Check us out. Leave us a review. It is worth your weight in gold. It's super helpful so that we can positively spread this message. Pej, you want to tell them about the group?
The group is called Ask an Addiction Specialist. It's on Facebook. It's actually, there's right down there in the bar.
Should be in the link.
It should be in the link. And also you can type it in, Ask an Addiction Specialist. We are always available. If you have a loved one or you yourself or somebody else that you know is suffering and you have questions, come and ask your questions in the page. You just have to ask to be in the group, and we will
Facebook group. Yep.
We will add you. And then we always have professionals there that can come and answer your questions, or people that are in the recovery community that have been sober for a while that can come and tell their experience too. Ask an Addiction Specialist is the name of it.
Absolutely. And if you or a loved one are struggling with addiction, you can reach out to us anytime, Pej or Austin at beginningstreatment.com. Or if you'd like to speak to a treatment professional directly over the phone, you can call 800-387-6907. Thank you again, everyone. Sober Grind out.